Hello and welcome to this session entitled Going Green with SUSE and IBM Z and LinuxONE. My name is Adam Jollins from IBM, where I work in the IBM Z and LinuxONE marketing team. I've been involved with Linux and open source technologies for many years. My co-presenters on this session are Terry Ginther, IBM's worldwide subject matter expert on global data serving with IBM LinuxONE, and Mike Friesenegger from SUSE, where he's a solution architect focusing on SUSE technologies and IBM Z and LinuxONE. Our Going Green title for this session has multiple meanings, from helping to save the planet by reducing energy consumption of your servers, to bringing SUSE software to IBM Z and LinuxONE to provide great cost-effective solutions for our joint customers, to giving you the green light to deliver hybrid IT, combining new open source and hybrid cloud workloads with corporate data and applications on a single system. I'm going to start with an overview of IBM C15 and LinuxONE to set the stage for the discussion about workload consolidation. Then Terry will talk about open source databases and the new partnerships with Fujitsu and PostgreSQL. And finally, Mike will discuss what's happening in the open source ecosystem around SUSE and IBM Z, especially around hybrid cloud and through the Open Maintain project. For those of you not familiar with IBM Z, it's a family of highly scalable, highly reliable servers that power many of the most mission-critical applications in the world. The family started over 50 years ago, but the architecture and technology have been continuously developing since then to meet the needs of our most demanding customers, from banks to retailers to governments. For those of you who are familiar with IBM Z, you know it offers the highest levels of security, performance and availability for a wide range of workloads, from databases to cloud computing. Linux was ported to IBM Z over 20 years ago, and SUSE produced the first commercial Linux distribution for IBM Z. In the early days, Linux applications ran alongside existing IBM Z data and applications, and this still happens a lot today. But we also saw increasing demand for Linux-only IBM Z systems. And so, nearly 5 years ago, IBM announced LinuxONE, a member of the IBM Z family dedicated to running Linux. And today we have both IBM Z and IBM LinuxONE systems available. Today, IBM Z and LinuxONE are available as a single 19-inch frame, which is air-cooled, or from 1 to 4 frames, which are liquid-cooled. They all support a variety of applications, from hybrid cloud and artificial intelligence to databases and transaction servers. IBM Z and LinuxONE really excel today in 4 key areas. Firstly, cloud-native applications. IBM Z and LinuxONE can support up to 2.4 million containers in a single footprint. Tools such as Kubernetes enable management and orchestration of containers across multiple nodes. This enables both modernization of existing applications and the development of new cloud-native applications, with the principle of build once, deploy anywhere. Secondly, encryption everywhere. On every IBM Z and LinuxONE processor is a crypto coprocessor. This hardware implementation of encryption lowers the overhead of encrypting data to single percentages, enabling organizations to make the decision to encrypt everything. And this massively reduces the impact of a data breach. And then we recently extended this with data privacy passports designed to protect data even when it's gone off-platform. Thirdly, cyber resilience. A new capability called secure execution enables isolation of applications and their data at a virtual machine level. Implemented in hardware, firmware and software, secure execution enables thousands of workloads to be protected from each other and from sysadmins. And combine this with the high levels of reliability and availability in IBM Z systems designed to deliver up to 7 nines of availability. And finally, flexible compute. Resources can be made available on demand with the ability to scale 1,800 times between the entry level and the larger system. I/O is offloaded onto specific processors. Data compression can be done in hardware with co-processors on each chip. Plus flexible consumption models are available for public, private, and hybrid cloud. And each system includes a lot of processing power. For example, the recently announced single-frame LinuxONE III can support up to 65 processor cores, up to 16 terabytes of memory, and high-speed I/O. What this all means is that IBM Z and LinuxONE are highly scalable systems designed to support large numbers of applications, balance out system resources effectively, and protect these workloads efficiently from internal and external threats. Which makes them a great target for workload consolidation from distributed x86 systems, which are not able to support as many applications or share resources as easily. The initial benefit is a reduction on TCO, since less processor cores are needed to support the same workload, and so less software licenses are needed, leading to lower costs. Plus, applications are able to communicate with each other much faster due to co-location. And then there's a third potential benefit, the greener solution. Some years ago, back in 2008, IBM decided to focus on environmental initiatives, and as part of this set up Project Big Green. The aim of Project Big Green was to double the compute capacity of IBM's internal data centers without increasing energy consumption or any other environmental impact. One of the components of Project Big Green was to move applications from distributed x86 systems and consolidate onto a much smaller number of IBM Z systems running Linux. As well as cutting energy consumption by 80%, the project reduced floor space by 85%. This reduction in the number of servers was quite amazing. By the time the project concluded in 2015, it had consolidated from 10,000 x86 servers to around 30 IBM Z systems, each running multiple Linux virtual instances. Consolidation also resulted in large cost savings, especially for software licenses, since IBM Z's processors are more powerful and I/O is more efficient, so less Linux cores are needed to run the same workload. And then there are other benefits of workload consolidation: less cables, fewer network connections, and better sharing of resources. Fast forward to today, and we're seeing workload consolidation become even more important, both to save money and to reduce environmental impact. An example here is a large insurance company in Asia Pacific who needed to reduce costs and data floor center space and also energy requirements. They were running their operational system on distributed x86 servers, but decided to deploy their disaster recovery system on IBM LinuxONE servers running SUSE Linux. This was so successful that they then decided to move their operational system as well to LinuxONE. They consolidated 100 x86 servers, 6,400 cores, onto 2 IBM LinuxONE Emperor 2 servers with 300 cores. This resulted in 20% lower hardware and software costs, 60% lower administration costs, and 75% lower data center costs due to energy and floor space savings. Going green with SUSE Linux and IBM Z or LinuxONE really can deliver significant cost savings. Now let's look at another workload on IBM Z and LinuxONE, open source databases. Let me hand over to my colleague, Terry Ginther.
Thanks, Adam. So again, my name is Terry Ginther. I'm the worldwide subject matter expert for data serving on IBM's LinuxONE and Z platforms. In my role, I travel the world working with customers on moving their databases to our platform. And in this role, what I'm seeing more and more is really a momentum shift from commercial databases and onto open source databases. And what echoes my experience is what I am really, is this Gartner study that was published last year, where Gartner says that in their estimation, by 2022, over 70% of all new in-house applications are going to be developed on open source databases. And not only that, but 50% of existing databases will have been converted or migrated onto an open source platform, an open source data platform. And this really, as I said, echoes my experience because in my role, what I do a lot is work with customers that are migrating databases like Oracle over to LinuxONE and LinuxONE Z. And in this migration, a lot of customers are starting to tell me that their new strategy is to develop new workloads on open source. So it's exactly what Gartner is saying in their study here. So to this end, I'd like to introduce to you today a new product for us on our LinuxONE platform on SLES. That's Fujitsu Enterprise Postgres. It's their version 11.6 release, and it is now available on LinuxONE and on Z as of March of this year. So just as of a couple months ago. This is a product that Fujitsu has been developing for over 17 years, and they actually collectively have over 30 years database experience developing for enterprise databases. They've got teams located in both Japan and Australia that work on the product, and they contribute back to the open source project as well. So they're very committed actually to the open source project, and a lot of their innovations go back to the open source project. They've got a mainframe services team led by a guy by the name of Richard Cranston in the UK, who also can assist in mainframe migrating over to the mainframe. So their product, from a feature perspective, really offers quite a lot of attractive features for a customer who's using Oracle today that is considering doing what we just talked about, which is taking workload out of Oracle and bringing that into a Postgres environment. What are some of the challenges that an Oracle customer would have doing this today? You need to have enterprise features, right? Things like transparent data encryption, being able to run multiple workloads, in data masking, right? Very many features that Oracle customers pay a lot of money for that you just can't abandon by going to open source. You need to also have enterprise support. So speed, security, support, all of these things are very important. And then as you consider moving to an open source platform, having compatibility with standard Postgres is also something very important. And that's also what Fujitsu does very well. They have got full 100% compatibility with standard Postgres. What does this mean? This means that if you develop an application or if you're running an ISV application on standard Postgres today, but you either need enterprise support or enterprise features, things like data encryption, you can swap out standard Postgres with enterprise Postgres, Fujitsu Enterprise Postgres, on our platform, and that application can run untouched and gain all of those enterprise features. So that's what I mean by 100% compatibility. Now, with that said, again, there are many features that as we look at a comparison with Oracle, because many customers are moving out of Oracle and into Postgres, that if we look at feature by feature, things like the advanced security option, data masking, active data guard, the tuning and partitioning options, the partitioning option, the OLAP option, the in-memory option, right? These are all things that an enterprise customer, most enterprise customers take advantage of from Oracle. And as you can see, they're very costly. The difference with Fujitsu Enterprise Postgres are these options are all available with the standard subscription. They're included in either the perpetual, and you have two ways of using Fujitsu Enterprise Postgres on our platform. You can either use it through an annual subscription, or like Oracle, it is available as a perpetual license with annual support. As a subscription, all of these options are included, and even as a perpetual license, there is just one license fee. It's not like Oracle where you pay for the base product and then have a lot of add-ons. It's a single product with no additional add-ons. So everything comes bundled in the product. And so that really makes it very, very attractive for customers on our platform. One of the real exciting things about the product is that Fujitsu has integrated, as Adam already talked about, our security on Z15. Fujitsu Enterprise Postgres is integrated in with our crypto card as of the current release. So as a Fujitsu Enterprise Postgres customer running on top of our LinuxONE III platform, your application, when transparent data encryption is turned on, it will be taking advantage of our crypto card transparently. So there's nothing you as a customer have to do except use the database, and any application or any user doing a query against a database where transparent data encryption has been turned on will be using our hardware encryption and decryption under the covers without them even knowing it. So and this is very exciting because our crypto card can decrypt and encrypt data at 1 to 2% overhead. So it's virtually no overhead to encrypt data. And also, as a part of our Z15 release, we also have data compression as another part of our hardware features. So when you as a customer turn on compression and then turn on encryption, the performance increases that much more because you're encrypting and decrypting a less amount of data. So again, this is a very exciting feature for us to be able to offer. There really isn't another database running on our platform that takes advantage of these hardware features the way that Fujitsu does. So again, I encourage you to explore this more, and please, if you're interested, get a hold of me, and my contact information will be at the end of the presentation, and I can get the Fujitsu team in these times do a WebEx with you, and we can go through these features in a lot more detail. What they're bringing in their version 12 release, which will be coming out later this year, is integration with our HSM also. So that means that the key management features of our platform will be available inside of Fujitsu Enterprise Postgres, so that a master key that is created by the LinuxONE operating system will be able to be used to encrypt and decrypt data inside of a Fujitsu Enterprise Postgres database. So this, again, is a very exciting feature. It's something that no other database vendor on our platform is doing today. Fujitsu is really at the head of the pack when it comes to taking advantage of these features. Another feature that's available on our platform as of this very first release, 11.6, is data masking. If you're an Oracle customer, you probably use data masking today. This same feature is available on our platform. Another very exciting feature is hybrid transaction analytical processing. And although this is a mouthful to say, what it really means is that you can, as a Fujitsu Enterprise Postgres customer, take advantage of a mixed workload capability and run OLTP and OLAP concurrently on our platform without any degradation. And we've actually just finished benchmarking this in our Boblingen lab, and those benchmarks are going to be published in the next week or two. So I encourage you to, please get a hold of me, and I will give you the results of these benchmarks. And I really don't want to give it away, but we've got some very exciting information to share around this relative to performance. What Fujitsu has been able to do in their existing x86 environment when they take an Oracle customer and migrate them to Fujitsu is they're able to increase their overall throughput and overall performance. And what I can say is that trend on Linux One continues and increases. Again, I don't want to give away the numbers right now, but it's going to be very exciting. So I encourage you in the next couple of weeks, please get a hold of Adam, get a hold of myself, get a hold of Mike, and we'll be able to share these benchmark numbers with you once they become available. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Mike Friesenegger, and he will take you through the hybrid cloud offering. Mike?
Thank you, Terry. The SUSE strategy over the last several years has been focused on enterprise open source technologies above the operating system. Containers, container orchestration, and cloud-native application delivery are all key elements of the SUSE strategy. The IBM LinuxONE system is an amazing server for addressing hybrid cloud requirements. I believe it is the best system for delivering cloud-in-a-box capabilities. Putting myself into a customer's shoes, I would want to know that the enterprise open source tools from SUSE will enable me to deliver a hybrid cloud experience on this amazing system. Even though I started my portion of the talk saying that the SUSE strategy has been focused above the operating system, this slide shows the amount of open source tools that are available to a SUSE Linux Enterprise Server for IBM Z and LinuxONE customer. Open source databases, system and web development languages, as well as tools for working with virtual machines and containers are all available as part of the core operating system. Package Hub is the option beyond the SUSE-supported databases, languages, and tools. Package Hub contains an additional 19,000 plus community-supported packages that are built by the same infrastructure which builds SUSE products. This means SLES customers have access to a much larger pool of open source packages to help them develop cloud-native applications, while at the same time knowing that installing the package will not break their system or stop them from getting technical support from SUSE. I believe that most people think of containers and container orchestration when the term hybrid cloud is mentioned. I want to reiterate that the Docker Community Edition is included and fully supported in SLES for IBM Z and LinuxONE. This means organizations can use Docker files to define and build their own containers based on SUSE-provided SLES container base images. These images are available in the SUSE registry. I encourage you to watch the SUSECON Digital session titled SLE Container Images, Everything You Need to Know About registry.suse.com for more information about utilizing SLES-based container images from suse.registry.com. The next logical question is whether SUSE has a container orchestration tool. The short answer is yes. SUSE Container as a Service Platform, also known as CASP, is the name of the enterprise Kubernetes distribution from SUSE. Today, CASP is available for x86-based systems. SUSE is talking with customers that would like to see CASP available on IBM Z and LinuxONE. There are efforts underway within SUSE to make this a reality. Please contact me if you're interested and would like more details. SUSE started a project during the 2018 Open Mainframe Project Mentorship Program to validate the feasibility of running a containerized Cloud Foundry environment on LinuxONE and IBM Z. This effort proved that all of the components and packages could be successfully built and that a Kubernetes orchestrated containerized Cloud Foundry deployment can run on Linux on Z and LinuxONE. The 2019 mentorship program, built on top of the previous year's efforts, focused on automating the building of the components and packages. This project was also a success. The mentor and mentee were able to compile a new Cloud Foundry component called the CF operator on IBM Z and deploy it on Kubernetes. They also deployed a Jenkins build server that will automate future Cloud Foundry builds. The mentor has a mentee for the 2020 mentorship program. Their goal is to make the S390X architecture a first-class architecture for containerized Cloud Foundry deployments. My hope is that this will lead to a future release of SUSE Cloud Application Platform that will support cloud-native application deployments to IBM Z and LinuxONE systems. If you're interested in containerized Cloud Foundry on Z and LinuxONE, please contact me. Adam told us about the 4 key focus areas for IBM Z and LinuxONE: cloud native, encryption everywhere, cyber resilience, and flexible computing. Adam also explained how IBM and a large insurance company are using IBM Z and LinuxONE systems to replace distributed servers, reducing their infrastructure costs. Terry talked about one of the best use cases for IBM Z and LinuxONE, which is database workloads. More organizations are looking to enterprise-supported open source database options as an alternative to proprietary database options on the platform. It is exciting to hear about the new Fujitsu Enterprise Pro PostgreSQL option available for SLUS customers. I wrapped up this session explaining what SUSE customers have in SUSE Linux Enterprise Server for IBM Z and LinuxONE to start their hybrid cloud journey. I also shared a few details around the work that SUSE is doing with Kubernetes, as well as containerized Cloud Foundry via the Open Mainframe Project Mentorship Program. Thank you for attending Going Green with SUSE and IBM Z and LinuxONE. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.